Welcome back. I'm Peter Alsop, and this is my Songs to Chew podcast, where each week we play one of my songs, then we take a closer look at some of its nuances and the issues it includes, often intertwined with the story so cleverly that we're not even aware that they're there. Ha! Our song this week is for folks who like puns and what many call bad jokes. I'm not exactly sure what people mean when they say bad jokes. We laugh and then call it a bad joke, which can mean a lot of different things to different people. Let's play this song, then we can chew on it a bit. This is from my very first album recorded at Bob Stane's Ice House in Pasadena, California in 1975 in front of a live audience. It's called Man, Oh Man, I Can.
As a window dresser at Macy's, my future held nothing in store. Until that day in the warehouse, when I spotted you there on the floor. Oh, I knew when I saw you that you were the one, but you needed some parts for your arm. So I gave you a hand, but your blouse came undone. I still feel shivers from all of your slivers, though you're rough with me, baby, that's part of your charm. Man, oh man, I love you, man, oh man, I can. Any way I can, love you all day. It's not right the way I love you, man, oh man, I can. Our love is not holy, wouldn't you say? Well, I know that you're bald, but I don't care at all, 'cause I know how self-conscious you are. And you always have a smile for me when I call. I love kissing your lips, though they're missing some chips from banging around in the trunk of my car. That blonde hair on my collar, you know that you found. Well, she's just a dummy I knew long ago. Now you're mad, I can tell, 'cause you won't make a sound. Must I tap little rhythms on you with my thumb? Ah-ha-ha, Mom always said you'd make a good drum. Your eternal beauty will never run down. I won't let you warp or decay. When you're old, if you get bored, you can lumber around in my yard where the woodpeckers stay. They'll build nests in your head and keep termites away. Man, oh man, I love you, man, oh man, I can. Any way I can, love you all day. It's not right the way I love you, man, oh man, I can. Our love is not holy, wouldn't you say?
And there you have it. Did you notice that the audience wasn't really sure where I was going with the song until I unveiled it in the first chorus? When I wrote this one, I was mostly just trying to be funny. I knew I'd get laughs from the subject matter and the clever puns, but as my career moved from doing date night and comedy and folk clubs into doing workshops and conference keynote presentations, I found myself surrounded by people who I knew would find many of the bad jokes in my songs a bit objectionable, to say the least. That's when I realized that part of the laughter generated by a song's images were objectionable precisely because they were objectifying and limiting women in stereotypical ways. I knew the lyrics were funny, but I didn't want to keep reinforcing those old stereotypes, like the dumb blonde woman whose head is so empty that birds could build a nest inside, or that when she gets mad, she gives me the silent treatment. And he even knows he's taking advantage of her. It's not right the way I love you, man, oh man, I can. So I've always loved the old proverb that says, if you get a lemon, make lemonade. In other words, figure out a way to take whatever adversity or misfortune that comes your way and turn it into something positive or desirable. So I started playing this song at workshops. People would laugh, and then we'd discuss the specific images in the song, get them out onto the table, into the light, so we could talk about them. We talk about the very real fear that men have of doing something wrong when we're with a real live human woman who we like and desire and love, and yet we're not sure what to do with all these complex feelings we have. We discuss how these images felt to the men and how differently they felt to the women. We look at who kept these objectifications of women going, mostly men, but sometimes women would buy into them too. And we'd explore what someone might have to gain by continually reinforcing these limiting stereotypes of women. Usually it's to have some sort of authority over them and to feel like we're better than they are. And of course it helps to bond with other men who also do not want to feel so powerless over our attraction to women. It also came up in these workshops about how men not only objectify women, but also how we do it under the protection of humor. I was just being funny. Hey, come on, what's the matter? Can't you take a joke? How was I objectifying you anyway, huh? Well, let's see. She needed some parts for her arm, and he provided the parts. She sounds kind of helpless there. Then there's the female jealousy. That blonde hair on my collar, you know, that you found? And the tired old mother-in-law stereotype, where no one is good enough for her son, so she doesn't like the new girlfriend. Mom always said you'd make a good drum. And she's actually bald, very self-conscious about her appearance, always smiling. How we doing? Enough old stereotypes yet? When she gets mad, she gives him the silent treatment. And oh, don't forget that she's got chips on her lips. She lets herself be damaged by having sex in the trunk of his car. We laugh at the lines, but the same old tired stereotypes are not really that funny. Humor often walks a very fine line by doing or saying things that people are not supposed to do or say. And people laugh. In other words, we're being objectionable. But in order to be successful, one has to be careful that we're not so objectionable as to be offensive. And I know that you can always find someone who is not easily offended, so it's really up to us performers to read an audience well enough that we do not cross that line. We need to decide for ourselves if we can go to places that are right on the edge of that line, because that line really moves around, depending on who's in the audience, and it changes depending on what the occasion for the gathering is. A joke can be really funny at a wedding when it's totally not okay at a funeral. I'm Peter Alsop. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next week with another song to chew.